Welcome to Cooking with a Quadriplegic, episode 3, I believe. Tonight we're going to show you some knife skills. We're going to be cooking a homemade pasta sauce for our spaghetti. And we're going to start with some fresh vegetable from Paso Robles Farmers. And just to get everyone up to speed, I am a quadriplegic with a spinal cord injury when I was 16. So for my right hand, that's my fist, I'm making as much as I can. And for my left hand, that's as much as I can make. So you will see me utilize my technique of a hairband, where I wrap it around my fingers 2 or 3 times, where it pinches my thumb and my first finger close. Then I'm then able to take a knife, kind of jam it in there. And so now you can see I'm holding the knife with the use of the hairband, and we'll start slicing and dicing some vegetables. First we'll start with some celery. Kind of just a rough chop. Do not peel the leaf part back from the celery. Use everything from the stalk to the little leaf pieces. It adds a little bit to the vegetables. I think that's going to be enough celery for right now for just the two of us tonight. We'll then slice up a fresh onion. First we'll peel it. And slice off one end. Turn it over. And we'll slice off the other end. And give me kind of a flat piece of my onion so I could have it stable when I slice it a little bit more in a minute. And I'll peel the top coating off, and I can hold it up and it's kind of stable because of the flat end. And we will then thinly slice, chop as well. One more little rough chop. And we now have the vegetables for part of the pasta sauce. I'll take the knife out of my hand, take off the hairband, grab the dish that I'll be using, the big soup pan, and slide everything in. And we'll see you in a minute. And we're back from commercial. This is a little bit of a lower budget since Food Network has not dialed me up yet, but we are still waiting. Luckily in Paso Robles we have good wine, and we also have good olive oil. So we'll be using some organic extra virgin olive oil to sweat out and start sweating down the vegetables. We obviously want to be aware of seasoning our food. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I never try to do too much because we could always go back and add some seasoning. But like Emerald said, we can never take seasoning out. Now we're heading over to the stove. So here we are at the stove. And for the beginning, where the pot's not too heavy, while sweating out the onions, I'm able just to hold it before it gets too hot as well with one hand and just kind of shake it around. Give it a few flips, and we're going to let it sweat out for 6 or 7 minutes before we add the meat to the vegetables. We're going to be giving the vegetables one last little flip and let them go for just a few more minutes, and then we'll add the organic beef 85-15 to make the meat sauce. We'll be adding the meat to the vegetables. And now that the meat is cooked with the vegetables, we will do a little bit more re-seasoning. I will again show you with my hair tie. I have it on my hand. I rub it around a couple times. It's now pinching my finger and my thumb together. So now instead of a knife, I can take the spoon, jam it in there. And so now I'm holding a spoon. And I'm able to add a nice spoonful of garlic. And now we'll be back after the next commercial. We are now going to start adding the wet ingredients and making sure the meat is nice and mixed with the vegetables. But because I can't see over the dish, we will bring the dish down by setting it on the bottom of the oven. Make sure everything we have that, I'll be now adding the wet ingredients. So I will be out of the picture for a few seconds as I go across the kitchen to grab my tomatoes, my pasta sauce, my stewed tomatoes, my diced tomatoes, and put it all together. The first thing we'll be adding is the tomato sauce. I kind of rest it on the edge of the pan since it's hard for me to hold. Get every last drop. My Italian diced tomatoes. Vegetable tomatoes. Garlic infused tomatoes. We'll now take the spatula that's wedged in my hand and make sure all those different wet ingredients are incorporated. You guys will not see me putting the can of tomato paste in because it is holding my iPhone/video camera. So we will be back after I put the tomato paste in from the can that's holding this phone. Welcome back. And to finish off the pasta sauce after putting the tomato paste in our very high fancy butter dish, we have our secret blend of spices for the sauce. That's how we roll. Whether tri-tip or pasta, we have our own seasoning. Put this up on the stove and let it simmer for about a half hour, and then we will enjoy our homemade pasta sauce with our pasta.
Smells yummy.
Prost. From my glass to you. I, as a quadriplegic with very limited hand function, am not a good twirler with the pasta. So we break it ahead of time. Put a little muscle into it. And with just a little bit of a mess, not too bad, you can see we now have the pasta broken in half, and so it will be easily put into the sauce to boil for 12 minutes, and it'll come out al dente, and we will put it all together and show you the finished product. Welcome back. We are now ready to finish everything off and get the pasta in the boiling water. I'm going to head behind me to the stove and grab the pot of boiling water and bring it over here to the lower counter. That allows me to be safe. But please don't try this at home. If you don't have the strength or function or confidence to carry hot boiling water across the kitchen in a wheelchair, please don't. But I do, and I will be back in about 20 seconds with my handy dandy Tobin James hot mitt. With piping hot boiling water, I will now add the pasta that I broke earlier. Trying to make as least of a mess as possible. Serving of 8 for tonight and leftovers and lunch. Heading back to the stove with the hot boiling water. See you in 2 and 2. We are now taking the al dente pasta from one side of the kitchen to the other carefully. We'll move our Opolo wine that we cooked with. We will now pour the pasta into the strainer as carefully as possible, not to burn me or drop the pasta. Please don't ever wash the pasta. You pour it straight into the strainer. You want to make sure that you pick the strainer up and get as much excess water out as you can, so that we don't water down the homemade sauce that we made. I think we're good. We're going to pause, go to commercial, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. And here we're back after commercial. Thank you again for the Paso Robles home version of Food Network. I'm still waiting for your call. We have used our best plastic Target plate to go with this. As you can see, we now have the finished product with a vegetable and meat homemade pasta sauce to go with our al dente pasta. So it's worth the time to make it homemade and enjoy it, and with a nice glass of Mountain Zen from Opolo. And thank you very much, and we'll see you for episode 4, cooking with, we don't know yet.